What's up guys and welcome to FPL Today. I'm the man in the know, JNO, and welcome to my team for Game Week 35 Transfer Thoughts, where we go over the decisions I'm contemplating over and the transfers I may make going into Fantasy Premier League Double Game Week 35. But before we get into this video, please make sure if you are a fan of the channel to vote for us in the Football Blogging Awards, where we are a nominee, a finalist for the Best Fantasy Football Creator category. If you want to go and do that, there are two links in the description down below, one to the website, one to post a tweet to put out your vote. All votes are appreciated. So we're not actually going to go to fires to put out first. We are going to go to a Fantasy Football Creator update. Yes, one of the finalists in the Best Fantasy Football Creator category is unfortunately ill, and it is Capcom Gaming. His link will be in the description down below, so go check out his channel and his Twitter for any updates on his team. But I have spoken to him and I'm going to just give you a quick update on his team because he has come down with wildcard fever. So whilst the game week is not over, I have spoken to him, and this is just so his fans can quickly get a little update on his team. The team he is currently going into game week 35 with is Angus Gunn, Alexander-Arnold, DUFFY, Dunk, Laporte and Bolly all in his defence, with Mane, Son, Deulofeu, Ward-Prowse and Jimenez up top. He's also got Lloris, Aguero, Eriksen and Lukaku on the bench. Now, I'm presuming with that lineup he is going to play bench boost. We didn't actually cover that whilst we talked. He is thinking of transferring Dunk to any other double game week defender that is 5 million and lower, and also possibly looking at removing Lukaku to try and get the now in-form Salah. Apart from potentially the double Brighton defence, that is a very strong looking side. I've also looked at Angus Gunn myself. We've both got Aguero, both got Son, so there's some very popular choices for double game week players there. Laporte is another one. I am also looking at Wilfred Bolly to come in for my Lewis Dunk. But I think the big worry for a lot of us is, having seen Mohamed Salah's two last performances, is he back to the Mohamed Salah we've been waiting for all season? As for Capkin, like I said, go check out his channel, go check out his Twitter to get any more updates on his side, because the prognosis is he may not be available for selection before Double Game Week 35. Anyway, now on to my part of this episode, and it is the fires to put out first as we look at the issues that I currently have with my side and the topics I'm going to cover in this video. And the topics are bench boost time. Am I going to play my bench boost? There is issues with Valerie. There were rumours about Aguero, but I think that's all been squashed. And do I want to bring in Mohamed Salah, a single game week player, or am I going to stick with the side I have, which has seemingly underperformed in double game week 34? And of course, covering that topic also is how many transfers am I going to make? I of course have the one free transfer, but will I make more than that to get the team I want going into the end of the season? Then we have Dunk or DUFFY to go. Now, my initial thoughts were always to get rid of Dunk. However, with us potentially wanting to bring in some bigger players, which is the next topic, do we get rid of DUFFY instead for a £4 million defender and then have a bit more money to bring in the likes of Salah and Sterling, which are the last topic in this episode today? But as always, before we get into all that, first we look at the fixtures and then we also look at my side going into game week 35. And the fixtures still look pretty similar to last week with the favourability, with Southampton still on top, Arsenal, Tottenham, Man United, Man City and Wolves all still having very favourable fixtures with double game weeks in there. And then Watford have risen above Brighton with the most favourable fixtures to join this list, with Huddersfield, Southampton, Wolves, Chelsea and West Ham. So all these sides have very good fixtures with a double game week. Potentially Man City's double game week is very difficult. However, all the other sides have a game in there where you think they could get points in. So double game week galore in game week 35, as I'm sure you all know. Southampton seemingly the side to get your cheap double game week players in from. And then a lot of the big sides, Arsenal, Tottenham, Man United, Man City, with informed sides like Wolves and Watford. I know Wolves just had a bad performance last game week, but Wolves are one of those sides that every now and again do have those performances against lower table opposition. And then Watford, of course, despite the fact of playing a man down against Arsenal, still put in a good performance against them and managed to keep it at 1-0. So my side going into double game week 35, and if I play bench boost, we are looking at 15 players with 3 players having a single game week and 12 having a double. Right now the lineup is Foster in goal against Huddersfield and Southampton, Valerie against Newcastle and Watford, Alexander-Arnold against Cardiff, DUFFY against Wolves and Tottenham, Deulofeu against Huddersfield and Southampton. Hopefully he's back. I thought he'd be back for that Arsenal game, but he didn't actually start. Mane against Cardiff, Martial against Everton and Man City, Heung-min Son against Man City and Brighton Hove Albion, Jimenez against Brighton Hove Albion and Arsenal, Vardy against West Ham, and then Aguero against Tottenham and Man United. With on the bench, Lloris against Man City, Brighton Hove Albion, Jota, Brighton Hove Albion, Arsenal like Jimenez, Laporte like Aguero, Tottenham and Man United, with Dunk like Duffy, Wolves and Tottenham. Now, I always planned to go into this game week transferring out Dunk. That was the plan, bring in a different double game week defender to kind of cover my bases and the fact that I don't actually like Brighton's fixtures after double game week 34. The issue I now have is, to me, the two players I should have had in this wildcard that I don't are Salah and Sterling. Now, to me, Aguero didn't look that dangerous in the game just played against Crystal Palace, whereas Raheem Sterling did, getting 3 big chances and scoring 2 of them. So I kind of feel like Sterling is the one I really want in my side. And then if I have Sterling and Mane, potentially I've got my bases covered. Even if Salah does go score big, if Sterling scores big in the same game week, I'm okay. Sterling would most likely come into Martial, which isn't as hard as bringing in Salah for Martial. But then, with the last 3 game weeks of the season, do I want to figure out a way to bring in Salah? That could prove to be potentially difficult. And to have Mane, Sterling, Salah and Son, that's going to be a very expensive midfield. We'd have to go cheaper up front. But that is the point of this video, and that is the point of covering all the topics that I am looking at right now. And the first topic we're going to cover is double or singles. We've got Kieran Trippier, who does have Man City and Brighton Hove Albion, and then we have Trent Alexander-Arnold that has Cardiff. Now, to me, Cardiff is the easiest fixture out of all 3 of those fixtures I just spoke of, and Alexander-Arnold right now is an informed player, potentially more informed than Kieran Trippier, despite Kieran Trippier's double game week. Arnold has 27 points in the last 6 games he's played in, compared to Trippier's 21. 3 returns and 6 for both, 1 assist for Trent, nothing for Trippier. Penalty area touches very similar, but then when we see goal threat, because to be fair, chances created is quite similar. Kieran Trippier has actually created more chances, but they've created the same amount of big chances. But goal involvement for Trent is 1.87 compared to Trippier's 1.25, and that's because of the goal threat. We've got 8 attempts on goal to 2. From inside the box, 2 to 1, with 3 shots on target to no shots on target for Kieran Trippier. I believe Liverpool's defence is a better defence. Fixture-wise, Tottenham probably have the better fixtures just. But I also believe Arnold's more likely to have ways towards those bonus points despite them being equal. And I believe Trent has more likelihood of getting an assist or getting a goal. So for me, especially with Game Week 36 and onwards considered, Trent Alexander-Arnold is a lot better of a choice than Trippier, which is why you see my team having, at the moment, 3 single Game Week players. We now move on to Dunk or Duffy to go, and this is going to be a difficult one for me because it was always going to be Dunk at first because I prefer Duffy as an option. Dunk has a bit more of a yellow card history there, but now that I'm thinking of bolstering my midfield, Duffy is the more expensive one. So to actually save money, if I got rid of Duffy for a cheaper player, then I've actually got more money to spend in other positions. Now, take into account this is recorded before Brighton's game against Cardiff, so Dunk and Duffy could have had an absolute madness in double game week 34, which I don't quite know about yet because I'm recording this slightly earlier. But Dunk and Duffy, no points from their game against Bournemouth. And to be honest, the underlying stats didn't look too great. Dunk did have a penalty area touch and an attempt on goal. Duffy did have a penalty area touch and a chance created, with both having expected goal involvement of 0.07 for Duffy and 0.04 for Dunk. Now, in comparison, in the same game week, we have Wilfred Bolly at 4.7 million, which I could bring in for Shane Duffy. 9 points on 90 minutes played, 1 goal, 2 bonus points, 3 penalty area touches, 3 attempts on goal, 3 from inside the box, 1 on target, with 1 chance created. Wilfred Bolly is a cheap way into that Wolves defence, although, of course, if you want a really cheap way into that defence, Ryan Bennett looks like an option. And then we've also got Yoshida, 4.1 million, a very cheap option as well. Depends, of course, if you already got the likes of Valerie and Bednarak. But 5 points scored from an assist in 90 minutes played, 4 penalty area touches, 3 attempts on goal, 3 from inside the box, 1 on target, 2 big chances with 1 chance created and 1 big chance created, with expected goal involvement the highest amongst these lot quite easily at 0.63. Right now I'm leaning towards Duffy going. Dunk is probably going to be a bench player, probably going to be out of the side pretty soon anyway. But if I am going to make the moves I'm planning to make, Duffy is the one that needs to go. Yoshida would have been a consideration, but I've got Valerie. I need to find out what the situation is with Valerie. If Valerie is okay, then Yoshida is unlikely. Bolly probably isn't going to be the one to come in either. It could be Bennett just for cash to bring in the big hitters in midfield. And so the bit you've probably all been waiting for, the big hitters in midfield, Salah and Sterling, they both had very good game week 34s. Sterling at 11.5 million is the cheaper and is on the current vein of form, which I feel like is something you cannot ignore. 60 points scored from the last 6 games he's played in. 3 returns from 6, but when he does return, they have been big returns. 7 goals, 1 assist, 7 bonus points, 49 penalty area touches, 23 attempts on goal, 18 from inside the box, 12 on target, but 7 big chances with 5 of them scored. That is quite similar to the likes of Jamie Vardy putting away those big chances. And to be honest, it could have been slightly higher if he'd put away his first chance against Palace. Also, with 8 chances created, 2 big chances created, with an expected goal involvement of 4.80. Because those stats are so good, that is why I'm leaning towards Sterling before Salah. But Salah is starting to return to form as well. If you had him this game week, you would have been quite happy with yourself. I know FPL TV managed to get both Salah and Mane in his side, so he was very happy. 29 points, 4 returns from 6. He has been getting assists. 2 goals, 2 assists, 0 bonus points. But these underlying stats are very impressive and kind of keep up with Raheem Sterling. 61 penalty area touches, 24 attempts on goal, 16 from inside the box, 11 on target. Big chances wise, he's only had 2. He's scored none of them, just for the record. The 2 chances he has scored recently haven't been big chances. 10 chances created with 1 big chance, expected goal involvement at 2.92. So, I do kind of want both. But I definitely feel like I need Raheem Sterling on my side. My biggest regret for my wildcard is Aguero over Sterling. That, of course, could change in Game Week 35 and Aguero could have an absolute madness. But from what I saw against Palace, I want Sterling on my side. And if Man City do get knocked out of the Champions League, I think Sterling may be a must. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining in this episode as always. If you have enjoyed it, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when my videos go live. Apologies for this being slightly longer than usual, but I was doing Capkid a favour by covering his team for him so that all of his viewers can actually see what's going on with his side. It was short and sweet, but anytime someone in the community needs some help, I'm of course happy to oblige them. Also, just another quick plug because this is the last week for it. If you want to vote for me in the best fantasy football creator category in the Football Blogging Awards, please check out the top 2 links in the description down below. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.